Hello all, this is the Owl, and today it's time to head further down into Maiden Abyss, binary star falling into darknesses, deep in abyss mode. Previously, our player character, a young novice cave raider, a red whistle called Fukuro, lol, began her journey into the abyss, along with the naive Dorothea and the mysterious Tiare, who eventually vanished and went missing on some sort of quest of his own, drawn down into the abyss by a spooky voice that sounds weirdly familiar. Venturing through and braving Layer 1, we ended up fighting a challenging interference unit and learned that Tiare had proceeded down even deeper, although he did briefly pop up again to stop us getting nommed on by a horde of corpse sweepers. After being promoted to Blue Whistle, an intermediate raider, we set out to explore Layer 2, dodging spike walkers, moths, yeti-like Inbyor, moths, those giant lobster-like Tachiganata, and more moths, before battling yet another interference unit and thus achieving the rank of Moon Whistle, an instructor-level raider, which is very odd. And no, we never get to teach anyone. Now, it's time to test ourselves in Layer 3, which a lot of folks have spent a lot of time warning me about. Now, again, I'm going in blind here, as I want to keep this playthrough organic. So, fingers crossed, they're exaggerating. Yeah, but before we start, one quick correction from the last video, because as it so happens, I was completely wrong about one aspect of Layer 2. There is indeed a route back from the inverted arbor to the corpse sweeper den, bypassing a lot of the nasty on Layer 2. There is not, however, any route whatsoever from the corpse sweeper den to the inverted arbor. It's a one-way shortcut going home. Thank you for the correction. And yes, this does mean that you and the Nope Tree will be getting well acquainted, although trust me on this, you will miss that tree like the dickens when you see what lies ahead. Anywho, on with the show. With Layer 3 in mind, and us now running a little low on dosh, I decide to do a little bit of grinding on Layer 1, but discover that now there are 0 relics on the entire layer. Ugh, well played, Spike Chunsoft. Well played, you bastards. So I groan and head on down to Layer 2, and I do a few simple circuits of the corpse sweeper den and knock out a few side quests while I'm there, also using up some of my outdated picks and pistols to clear out the mobs, but I'm careful not to go so far in that I would need to eat. Food is getting expensive at this point, but I quickly realize that this is all a bit pointless. Relics are now really thin on the ground here. If I want to farm, I'd need to head a bit deeper into Layer 2. Okay, fine. Before I head down, I do my usual Layer 2 checklist. Some rope, some food, and I also pick up a handful of quests that I will almost certainly never do, but maybe a few will activate or complete on their own in the process of me just doing my thing. Then, fully equipped, I strike back out for my run, aiming to go to the Seeker Camp and back again. I want to check it out there, as I can vaguely remember seeing a side quest marker, but I'm not sure. Okay, let's knock it out. I slog my way back through Layer 2, up the Nope Tree, through Hell's Crossing, and eventually I arrive at the Seeker Camp, where my game crashes for the second time ever. So I make a sound like Silent Bob stepping on a rake, and then I do it all again. Sure enough, Murrelk has a quest for me to help retrieve some herbs to cure one of Orzen's crew, who has been attacked by something nasty. Okie dokie. Now, if you're like me, you're not really expecting anything too bad. But let me warn you, there's actually a very evil boss fight ahead of you, and if you aren't kitted out pretty well, I'd actually recommend heading back to Orth and picking up a whole bunch of ammo and guns, and also a quest from the guild to kill an Autobus. Oh yeah, we're going big game hunting. With Murrelk in tow, I venture into the swamp biome. Oh yeah, that music, man. And sure enough, after a bit of faffing around, we find the right patch of herbs, which prompts ye old Autobus to emerge. If you're like me, you say bollocks to it and go right in hard on the thing, because it was a really big sleepy target when we faced it with Rico and Reg. Only this time out, if you're not ready for it, Mr. Autobus is going to knock you down, eat you, poop you out, and bury you before you know what hit you. Yeah, this is one hungry hippo, and it actually killed me twice before I finally beat it. I'm not sure whether these were quietly buffed in the patch, or whether they're just much nastier in Deep in Abyss mode, or maybe Reg was just a really good tank. But whichever it is, this is actually a hell of a fight. It's got 3 attacks: a charge and headbutt, which is easy to avoid if you're in range, but in melee range it comes out almost instantly, so if you're in close, do not be in front. Against targets on its flanks, it'll attempt to roll and crush. This is a killer in melee range, and the hitbox on it is rather unusual. It's wider than it looks, and more annoyingly, does not end quite when you'd expect it to. Wait about half a second after the roll ends, because if this hits you, you're probably dead, as the boss loves to follow it up with another attack. This might have something to do with my own crappy blue whistle armor, but the new stuff is expensive, heavy, and not quite as big of a jump as my current stuff was. So I decide to hold off and just skill my way through. Please note at this point, this will come back to bite me in the ass a bit later. Mr. Hippo's last attack is directed against anything on its haunches or butt. A rapid, damaging swat with its stanky hippo tail. Avoid the arse of the hippo at all costs, which is excellent life advice all round. The best way to beat it is to take your time, stay on the flanks, bait out a roll, wait for the roll to end, do some damage, and then repeat. But your allies here actually complicate matters, as they'll spread out around it and make it do all sorts of silly things, and they don't deal much in the way of damage. You might actually want to stay out of the way until they're all knocked down. There is, however, an easier way to do this fight. Scattered around the arena, there are cunningly placed bamboo mines that, for once, never actually got me. However, if you can lure the Autobus over it, the mine will go off, hit it hard, and also lift it up off the ground, rendering it helpless and letting you carve yourself a good few hippo steaks before it collapses. Tastes like payback. I did this absolutely intentionally, I swear. And just as I was about to beat it, it activates a QuickTime event that I wasn't ready for, which knocks you down, does some serious damage, and makes you do a bit more damage to it. Ugh. That was nearly a Soulsborne level fight, and by far the hardest thing I've fought in the game. Well, thus far. Once the hippo falls, we get a brief cinematic. Yes, game, I'm absolutely sure that you're going to make us fight two of those nightmares simultaneously, but oh, what a surprise! Orzen saves us and insults us in her normal Orzen fashion, but she does promise us a reward worth far more than anything down here if we come and talk to her. Back at the Seeker Camp, I get another quest from Marulk to find a raider that went down to Layer 3. Is she talking about Rico, maybe? But I decide to hold off on talking to Orzen, as I suspect that, well... It's a trap! Yeah, I smell another boss fight coming, and after the Autobus, nope. I've got nothing left, so I fast travel back to Orth, sell my meager cache of crappy relics, then equip myself with a bunch of shiny Moonwhistle picks and a few handguns. But, like a moron, I forget to buy ammo for the bloody things and head on back. See, my guess was that, at this point, I'd be doing the same Orzen fight that I did with Reg, and as I got a perfect kill there on like the third try, it can't be that hard, right? Right? Yes, I know. People who have finished this are laughing hysterically at me right now. You folks just want to see me suffer and or make an ass of myself. Okay then, let's do this. It's time to see FrightRanker get absolutely pantsed. Before we head back, we visit Laffy once more and pick up a letter for Hubble, which we deliver to him, earning us another nice meal. Okay, let's take Orzen out, and then we can finally see what all the fuss about Layer 3 is about. Orzen does indeed challenge us, but this time says that we'll fight outside, so she can go all out. Alrighty then, bring it on, lady. The arena she chooses is Heaven's Waterfall, the boundary between layers 2 and 3. The fight starts and I run in, only to have her grab me, throw me into the air, which both curses me and insta-kills me. Bloody hell. Okay, let's be more cautious this time. Wait for her to charge, dodge away, and then smack her. Nope, she nails me with a boulder, then grabs me and kills me again. So, as you might have realized, this incarnation is a beast. I'd almost say megaboss, like those Valkyries in God of War. She's got 3 attack patterns, and all of them are designed to feed you your own feet. The least threatening involves her hocking a rock at you. Just dodge. Be warned though, she will almost always follow this up with an immediate dash and grab, which is an instant kill. So if the boulder hits you, she's going to follow it up and destroy you. Do not get hit. Handle the dash by moving away, avoiding the grab, and then hit her twice. Do not try for a third. She has no pain states, and she'll just grab you. The problem here is that this game has some sort of command buffer, meaning that if you hit the attack button 3 times, then try to correct out and dodge, that third attack will pop out and you won't be able to cancel, and then you're doomed. Her final attack is quite similar to the rest, but in this case, Orzen will crush the boulder and fling pebbles at you like a shotgun with tits. This is honestly much more of a threat. It still deals a ton of damage, it still knocks you down, but if you try to dodge to the side, it'll hit you. Instead, you have to time a perfect dodge, roll into the spray, and then slightly away from Orzen. Do this right and you'll generally avoid this. Sometimes she will follow this up with a dash, but not always, so get ready to roll away and punish her if need be. In direct melee range, she'll always try to grab you, and I don't think there's any invulnerability state that beats this grab. If you're slightly further away or circling around her, she will stomp to grab a boulder, which is really dangerous, as if you're anywhere near her when she does this, she will knock you down and, as always, follow it up with something lethal. Both her grab and her stomp seem to come out of nowhere, so again, there aren't that many openings in this fight. The question is, how many times did Orzen kill my ass? Well, it's time for, courtesy of White Whistle, Orzen the Immovable, our very first death montage. Yeah, I suspect that this is not a fight designed for moon whistles, especially ones rocking crap gear. So I eventually got frustrated after an hour or so of humiliation, and I gradually came to realize that, even though I'm starting to find a rhythm, my attacks are barely even tickling her. Fine, I will come back for you later, madame, preferably with some better gear, and I will be bringing a stack of pistols taller than you are, because right now, even if I were to execute this perfectly, I simply do not have enough stuff to kill you. I reload my save and turn around, striking out for Heaven's Waterfall now, trying to resist the mild PTSD I now have of this place. I've got a quest to kill a Tachiganata, one of those big blue lobstrosities, which I do, just trying to clear up some of that crappy ammunition now. And with it dead, I head over and find that the tunnel dug by the interference unit is now an entrance down into layer 3 for us. Okay then, I enter a very familiar scene from the manga. This entire zone is a massive flue riddled with caves along its circumference. I climb down the cliff face, spotting a new enemy, the Madoka Jack. These things, how would I best describe them? Think a random number generator that, if you roll a 1, will just instantly kill you. If they spot you, they'll barrel towards you and smack you down off the cliff face. And they can even follow you slightly into caverns, so watch out. Unfortunately, I didn't get footage of this happening until quite a bit later, but trust me, it happened more times than I'd like to say. You can try climbing up and down to evade them, but it's not always reliable, and plus you'll be low on stamina too. Slipping by them, I enter a system of caves. Oh, hey, it's a Neritantan. Them's good eating. We also encounter the, well, second dick move Layer 3 has in store for us. These frigging crawl spaces, which take ages to get through, and are only there to waste your time. Yeah, bullshit to this. Working my way through the web of passageways, I find my next route down. I set up a rope and narrowly avoid a Madoka Jack. If you hear one, run into the cave a ways as fast as possible. In the next chamber, I encounter yet another new enemy, these beetle bastards. Remember how layer 1 and 2 would constantly spawn stingers and mantoyas? Layer 3 spawns these dicks. Constantly. They hit hard, can injure you, and take 3 sodding hits from my fancy pick to kill. Whoa, do I hate these. Worse yet, as you get further in, the game has a nasty habit of spawning them in the middle of narrow corridors, forcing you to kill them and waste valuable durability. You'll see this more later on. I carefully proceed through low caverns, dodging these nasty things, and find a tortoise-like monster called a mountain spinner. There are about 3 different varieties of these creatures in here. Avoid them if you can. And again, we'll be learning more about these things in due course. Buh. Avoiding spinners and bugs, I find a small cavern with an obvious puzzle. Yes, I get it, it's just tedious. Crawl through the space, push the boulder, then push down the monoliths. And, as you'll realize later, you will need to do this bit of time wastage every sodding time you come down here. And that's true of a lot of this ass pain of a layer. Oh yeah, layer 3 has moths too. Except that now they spawn at an even higher rate. In some areas, almost as soon as you start climbing, they will start spawning. Fortunately, we've got a lot more climbing stamina now, and can, if need be, move laterally while waiting out the curse to avoid them. At the bottom of this mess, I find a new zone, the hexagon pillars. And now, it's time for the fun to begin. I will say, at this point, I've beaten all the From Software titles besides Sekiro and Elden Ring. I've beaten Ninja Gaiden Sigma. I've beaten God of War 2 on Titan. So before someone thinks it's smart to jump in the comments with a "get good," I like challenging games. But what's ahead of me may be one of the most bullshitty, unfair, and deliberately frustrating segments of gameplay I've encountered since the frigging Capra Demon, and you can't just lob poop over the wall until it gives up. Spike Chunsoft, if you ever see this and do intend to give us a real patch, Step 1, rework Layer 3 to not be an utter, miserable waste of time, because this is not fun. What do I mean? Well, get ready for one angry owl. Heading through, the next room is a red glowing thing with some engravings on the floor. Only when I step onto one, it's a pitcher plant monster, an amakagame, and it swallows me whole. While inside its stomach, or flower, or whatever this thing is, you'll be taking constant ticking damage from its acid, and you'll need to beat on its guts until it spits you out. Weirdly enough, and remember this for later, something that happens here stops your weapons from taking durability loss. Honestly, I don't know, but maybe if you take damage while attacking it, it bugs out. All I can say is, holy crap, I'll take it. Finally, the damn thing spits me out, right into a swarm of now carnivorous Neritantan. I guess I'm good eating. And they stunlock me to death before I can do anything, in probably my most embarrassing death of the run. Seriously, whoever came up with this Ian Livingstone-esque death trap needs a bit of a slap. Well, sod it. I'm low on food, I can tell that this place is going to be slow going, so I'm going to go back home. Only I find that The rock puzzle has reset, stranding me. Eventually, after an embarrassing amount of time wandering around, I stumble on a way back to the chasm, and I climb back up, head all the way back to Orth, and stock myself fully on food, some new pistols, and a bunch of pricey new Moon Whistle tier bullets. Ooh, these are shotgun rounds by the sounds of it. I tend to fight up close and always main shotguns in games. So a shotgun, something that inflicts massive damage up close, is just what I need, right? I also grab a few more skills, but I neglect to buy what's going to turn out to be one very, very crucial thing. Something I have never needed until now, and once again, this is going to come back hard on me in about an hour or two. Thinking I'm fully stocked, I fast travel back to the waterfall and head back down, ready this time to make this place my bitch. Spoiler, as it turned out, it was going to be the opposite. Back at the bloody Amakagame, I finally figure out how to handle the trap on emerging. The trick seems to be to immediately roll past the creatures. They'll bite you a few times as you run away, but once you get far enough, they'll become passive again. I wonder if that beast repellent that I've been meaning to buy but never have for some reason would have made this easier, but it's too late now. And soon I realize my mistake. Those useless pythons, or pitons. Pitons? Let's go with pythons. Back at the store, they would be coming in rather handy right now. It's annoying, but okay then, we'll just take the long route, I guess. I bash through some walls and enter, an ice zone? It's called the cold heat layer, and as the name indicates, it's another mess. Fire, lava, rolling boulders, heat vents, and also icy places that are kind of a nuisance to navigate. About the only positive thing I can say about this zone is there's no slippery ice physics, and I wouldn't have put it past the designers. I lower myself down, navigate through a maze of lava patches, dodge some fire spinners, watch out. They can actually pulse a dangerous fire nova if you get too close, and then I enter another icy passage before things start to rattle and roll, and I get a warning that the area ahead of me is very dangerous. Welp, maybe it's a boss fight. I've got plenty of picks and guns, a good few of those new shotgun shells burning a hole in my wallet, and a ton of food and bandages. As I head through the passage, dodging ice geysers, I spot it's a side quest marker. Maybe that'll take me back home to buy some pythons. I venture in like a moron when the door collapses behind me and I get a short message saying, survive. Okay, and this right here is the part of the game that very nearly broke me. I am not kidding. I was a flea's ball hair away from straight up uninstalling this game. And if I hadn't been making this video series, I may very well have done. Trapped in an icy cavern, with my only objective being survive, I decide to do the obvious thing and wait it out. Occasionally, beetles will spawn, but I quickly discovered that if I got up onto a little rock, they couldn't get to me. And I waited for bloody ages. Nothing happened. So, maybe there's a way out I have to find. I explore the room, and aside from 5 ice spinners chilling on little platforms, nope, not gonna mess with those buggers, there's nothing in here. Around and around and around I went, checking every centimeter of the room, seeing if maybe there was a hidden crawl space, or maybe a frozen wall I could break, but no, there is no way out. I am utterly trapped. So, how the hell do you do this? Honestly, I couldn't even tell you, because this is where Layer 3 got weird on me. With nothing happening, no matter how long I wait, I start killing beetles. Nope, nothing. Then I wonder, maybe I just have to disregard the survive option and try killing the spinners. I mean, what else am I gonna do? These things are actually quite nasty. They've got 2 attacks. One involves poking their heads out and then sweeping it from side to side, which is easy to dodge. They also have a rapid spin that inflicts injuries and blue poison, which is not. The easiest way I found to deal with them is to get in close, bait the head sweep, then swiftly bonk them on the head and pull back. Doing this, I chew through a pick and am not willing to burn another. So I decide, alright, and I switch to my shotgun rounds. Now, when something is described like a shotgun, what do you expect? A wide spread with a high cumulative damage impact in close, right? Not a feather duster. I'm not sure if they're bugged or not. Maybe someone misplaced a decimal. But these things suck. They are substantially weaker than regular ammunition, and it takes about 5 sodding point-blank shots to kill a beetle, and they barely even tickle the spinners. Seriously, why didn't I go bows? Poisons would have been so useful right now. Ugh. Oh, and the spinners respawn. But I think that I must be on the right track now by simple process of elimination. It has to be the spinners, right? I mean, what else could survive refer to besides kill these stupidly tanky respawning enemies that have no way of attacking you from where they are? Who made this? But unfortunately, I don't think that my remaining pick is going to cut it. The game thought it would be cute to autosave right as I entered this room, and my last manual save is ages ago. So I reload, try, reload, try. What I'm doing is fishing for critical hits to try and save me some durability. And after I don't even know how many tries, I must have killed enough spinners with a tiny bit of durability left on my pick. And sure enough, this triggers something. Somehow, I'm saved by 2 cave raiders, and this does give me a good amount of money and XP. Thanks, but that was awful. I leave the room and proceed further in. It takes me a while to realize that something weird is going on. Do you see it? How about now? No, it's not just that the game loves to put those sodding beetles right in the middle of these narrow passageways, forcing you to waste durability on killing them. But there's a hint there. Note the green bar. Yup. Somehow, maybe by triggering the cinematic at a certain time, or taking damage at just the right moment, I've managed to glitch my pick. At first I thought it was just a free durability repair, which would have been fair for that room. But nope, it is now utterly indestructible. Whoa! So, what do I do now? The game just autosaved. My previous save is ages ago, and I don't want to do all of that nonsense again. But I want this to be a proper run, and I don't want to be exploitative. So I try reloading from the autosave, I try moving my pick around, I try switching to a different weapon, which takes durability loss as normal. Regardless, I finally decide that my best course of action is going to be to head back to Orth, sell the bugged pick, and then play the rest of the game out normally. because this feels a little cheaty. Only I don't seem to have that option. The way back appears to be completely closed off to me now. Screw you, game. I guess the only way out is through. The next area is another large vault surrounded by walkways, and it's full of beetles, moths, and a new Tachiganata waiting for me further down. I can see the exit to the next zone, but the first room I try contains a nope, that's a crimson split jaw. Is that what they meant by danger ahead? I guess I could pick it to death, but even with my mega pick, I'm starting to get low on supplies. I also feel I have to draw attention to the music here, which, oh man, do I groove this one. It's sadly a bit too up-tempo for a video background, but I might have to find a spot for it in due course because, damn. Finally, I make my way to the next area and enter the freezing hot mines. Ooh, there's the quest at last. Only, there is literally no way I can reach it. I try everything. Climbing on walls, nope. Going outside and clambering around the rock face, oh, falling boulders. Ducky. Yeah, another dick move that. But nope. I think I finally realize what the problem is. The only route down requires pythons. That's fine. Of all the things to spring on me now, a previously useless space hog is now absolutely compulsory to proceed. Guess I have to try and find my way home somehow, but I am now lost, injured, and running desperately low on supplies. About all I have going for me is a bugged pick that I feel kind of bad for using. Regardless, I attempt to scale the cliff face again, only to suddenly hear the sound of a Madoka Jack behind me. So I run. Don't notice the indicator for the curse as I bound up the slope, run into a cave, and the layer 3 curse hits me. I start hearing an eerie voice telling me to be careful in Japanese. I turn around and crikey Moses. That's the biggest jump scare I've had in a while. So, my nerves are shot. My patience has run out. I shut down the game for the day in disgust. Now what? Will Fukuro find her way back to Earth? Or will she be stranded down here, in the dark, forever? Is a simple python going to solve these problems? Can I even sell what's now clearly a glitched item? Is FrightRanker going to make it through this game without eating his own hands? For that, you'll have to wait until next time. And remember kids, always bring a python. Let that be a lesson to you. Before we finish up for the day, and I go and polish off an entire bottle of something corrosive by myself, I want to say a special thanks to my patrons, Astrixer Gaming, Cheerful Satanist, Bruyere, Crazy, Jacob Ramsey, Lance Goobel, Piece of Yeast, Rafferty, Robert Dote, and XTC Pill. I also want to give a special welcome to High Lord J and Martin Thomason. Thanks so much to all of you. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, like, subscribe, bell, etc. You know the drill. If you want to help keep this channel alive past December and fund more content like this for myself and Mrs. Owl, or maybe just to buy us some pythons, head on over to our Patreon. If you want to chit-chat, give feedback, join in community events and the like, you could always check out our Discord, which is surprisingly active and pretty damn wholesome. Otherwise, cheers my friends, take care, and I'll see you next time. This is the Owl, signing off.